the misunderstanding we had regarding the date, but we are really delighted that you accommodated us.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Gianna, shall we start? Meanwhile, the participants joining at 16:12, should we 4:12, shall we start? Nishaji?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay. A very good evening to the esteemed faculty for today, Nishaji from Surat, the coordinator for today's series, CA Gianna Tulsija, Bhumika Virani, Nishaji, senior members and my dear friends, welcome to the second last day of the skill development series under the category of personal development. And we have a wonderful session on interpersonal skills today. So let's start the session with ICI motto. I request everyone to place your right hand on your heart for ICI motto.
Yaesha supteshu jagrati, Yaesha supteshu jagrati, Kamam 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 Purusho nirvimanaha Tadeva shudram Tada Brahma Tadeva amritamuchyate Tasmin lokaha shetaha Sarve sadudatyati kashyanatyati kashyan Etadvaita 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 Etadvaita.
Welcome back. I would request each one of you to start their videos because the session is on interpersonal skills, and it would be really an honor and comfortable to the faculty to speak to you rather than just seeing your wallpaper. With this, I would request CA Gianna Tulsija to introduce the faculty for today.
Thank you, Anjali. And it's a pleasure to introduce Nisha ma'am. So Nisha ma'am is a coach, trainer, consultant. She's won a national award for quality excellence in training 2021 from IQAC. She's a speaker at Business World and NewsX. She's one of the most inspirational entrepreneurs in 2019 declared by NEA and IRMA. She's won Women of Excellence in 2018 by SGCCI. She provides various services such as a corporate trainer, a life coach, a career development coach. She prepares people for interviews, team building, educational consulting, management consulting. She's a public speaker and also a change management. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome you at ICAI. And the floor is all yours. We are so happy to have you with us.
Thank you so much. It's definitely an honor to be amidst all amazing women, working professionals, and it gives me complete delight, great pride to be amidst all of you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Right, so today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. It actually plays, the foundation of most of our lives. I would like to share, an interesting story out here before we begin to understand that, how does a relationship really play an important role, and why are we really talking about this topic? So this is actually a real life story wherein, there is this hospital in the US, which was a cancer hospital, and there were the patients in the very final stage. That entire cell was governed by one nurse, who had to be taking care of these patients, and it was like very intensive care unit, and all the patients just knew that they had just a few days left. So you could say that they were on their deathbed. They were aware, but we all understand that when we really know that these are our last few days, there are so many things that go on in one's mind. COVID has also given us these experiences amidst a lot of our close and dear ones. So this nurse who was supposed to look after these special patients who had last few days left with them, she decided that let me learn from the learnings that these people on the deathbeds have, and what are their regrets before leaving the world, so that it becomes a learning for a lot of other people to not live a life in a particular way. So this nurse actually started documenting the regrets that these people had in their last few days of their lives. You would be surprised to know that most of them mentioned that they wish that they had spent some more quality time with their dear and near ones. Most of them never said that I wish I could have added some more zeros, in my bank account. No one mentioned that I wish I could have done a little overtime at my workplace and I could have got, that promotion. No one actually mentioned that I wish, I would have worked a little harder at my workplace so that I could, really had a better growth in my career. Rather, they said that I wish I could have spent some good quality time with my children, with my parents, with my grandparents, with my spouse. I wish I could have really understood the importance of time that I spent with each one of them. So eventually, although there was an entire book that was composed out of this regrets, but what is the learning for all of us? The learning is purely that it is relationships. It is relationships that plays as a cornerstone for our life. So maybe we all want to grow in life. We all want to progress in life, but without good relationships, it definitely does not give us a sense of fulfillment. So imagine that we are told that okay, if the God comes to us and says that all right, so now I grant you one wish, and I give you the best of the facilities and a very large, beautiful house, and you would have anything that you would want for, but just at one small condition, and the condition would be that there'd be no one else who would be with you. So living with you, but it would be only you and alone you who would have to live in this house. So imagine how happy would you be? Would you be happy enough to live your life all by yourself, despite all the facilities and all the amazing things that you would get to eat and amazing clothes and outfits that you would have, anything that you would ask for, but not people. So yeah, so I'm sure that you would all agree that it definitely is people and our bonding with that person, with whom we are living our lives, be it at the workplace, be it in the personal front. So yeah, so that's the topic of today, and that is interpersonal skills, wherein we are going to touch base on some little important elements as to how we can ensure and what actually are these interpersonal skills, and moreover, how we can ensure that having good relationships between people with whom we work, with people whom we live, be it the maximum time if we are at the workplace, we would say that yeah, we live a lot of our part of our life with people at our workplace, and of course with the people who are near and dear ones with us in our homes. So how does that really play a significant role, and what can we actually do to ensure that we get that sense of fulfillment and happiness based on having a good healthy relationship? So that's going to be the topic of today. Before we begin our session, I would really love to learn about each one of you who is participating in this session to be as participative as you can, so that I am able to cater to your learning needs the closest. Moreover, you are spending your time and so am I. So let us ensure that we all have a win-win situation where you also feel that you gain good learnings that will help you in your life. So yeah, so I would welcome you all to share with me as to what, according to you, when you're talking about interpersonal skills, what, according to you, has one major concern being to ensuring good, healthy relationships? Are there any major challenges that you are facing while, you know, dealing with people? Because we all understand what relationships are. We all understand what do we mean by interpersonal, that's relationship with the other person other than us. So we're not talking about relationship with me and just myself, but we're rather talking about relationships of mine with other people. So what do you think is your major challenge while, you know, developing good relationships with others? I would invite you all to write down in your chat box about what are some specific challenges that you face while trying to develop a good relationship with people around you, be it at the workplace or maybe you know, in your personal life. Are you facing any challenges so that I could address them and customize it for you? I would really appreciate if you would want to write down in the chat window, so that I know that you all are still there, and also that I'm not talking just to a screen, but I'm talking to people who have not just put off their videos, but are also listening to me. Great. So I am assuming that you all are listening to me, and let me play my role well as a faculty out here. So I'm just going to share my screen and take you through the content, hoping that that suits your requirements, as I'm not receiving any messages. Yeah, I would request the host to enable my screen sharing so that I could share my content. If the host is listening to me, I would really request to find.
Nidhi ma'am, please make Nishaji co-host. Nishaji, just give me 1 minute.
Sure. All right, so I hope that you're all able to view my screen, right? So that's about my organization, some of our clients and the team. We're also available online. I would be glad to connect with all of you online. Perfect. So we're going to talk about interpersonal relationships, and the first thing that I would want to share with all of you that see, relationship is more or less like a job. You know, you really have to work hard to get it, whether it's any project or a client association, any kind of a task that you pick up. It is more or less like, you know, when you actually want to get that work done, you have to really get you get yourself for working, you have to really work hard so that you get an assignment, you get a client, you get a project, you get a job. And once you've got it, it is even more harder because you need to work hard so that your client is happy, your project is it gets you the right level of satisfaction and the results that you desired. So yeah, so that's about relationship. Now, I really hope that we all are listening to each other. I would appreciate all of you to share in the chat window. I'm going to share some pictures on the screen. I want you to share with me as to what kind of relationship do you see is the speaker having with the listener. I want you to write in the chat window, as to use your chat window and share with me as to what do you see as the feeling that the receiver is having. So you'd see there's a gentleman who's listening to her senior. She's trying to share something about some project details. What do you think is the person thinking? Tell me about the relationship that you think would be between the two of them. Can you guess as to what kind of relationship would these two people be having? Yes, there is. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, she is an immediate senior. And what do you think is this receiver, the receiver as in to the person who's listening to the senior lady, what do you think is he passing through? What kind of relationship do you think he's having? Relationship here would not be, say, the designation, but I would say about the kind of relationship, whether it is a healthy relationship or whether it is a strained, a difficult relationship, unhealthy kind of a relationship. What kind of relationship do you see between the speaker and the listener? So there's a strange relationship. Okay. Yeah. So do you think it is a healthy relationship? Do you think it's a positive relationship between the two? Do you see that? No, it's negative, right? Let us go to the second one. Let's see about this lady. Now, what kind of relationship do you think is this lady having with the entire group of other ladies? What kind of relationship do you think she's having with them? Do you think it's an insecure relationship, right, Sherry? Right. So you'd see that the relationship that the two are having is definitely not a healthy or a positive relationship. But she is feeling that she is being made fun of, or maybe she's not acceptable to the group. Right. Now look at this kind of a relationship. What kind of relation do you see here? How do you think is this person being accepted into the group with the kind of suggestions that he's making? Do you think that this relationship that he has with all the listeners, is that a good relationship, a healthy relationship, or a negative relationship? What do you think? Right, thank you. Yeah, so it is a positive relationship. How about this? Is that a positive relationship? Yeah, so I assume that you would all consider this as a positive relationship. So so is this. Let us say that this is also a healthy relationship, right? So when a senior is sharing his inputs with his junior, both of them are listening to each other. The kind of relationship that the two have looks like a positive and a healthy one. So basically, when we are talking about relationships, let us understand that there are three types of relationships. So one kind of a relationship could be a self-destructive one. What is a self-destructive relationship? It's a relationship wherein there are two people in a team, but when they work separate, isolated, they give better results. But when it comes to working together, the results are really not as per expectation. They are even self-destructive, as in, the way it is like 1 + 1 is 2, but the outcome for these kind of relationships is generally less than 2. That is that in case if they would have performed isolated way, then they would have individually done a good contribution for the organizational goals. But when it comes to working together, maybe they are not good for each other, and both of them, when they work together on a particular project, they actually do not deliver the desired outcomes and the productivity falls. The second type of a relationship is where, there is just enough to deliver the outcome. So somehow, you manage in a way wherein there is an acceptable level of productivity and you deliver the result. So there is like 50% efforts from Mr. A and the 50% efforts from Mr. B with the required feedback and reviews during the period of being together, and then eventually the result is somehow attained. Whereas the third kind of a relationship is a synergistic relationship, wherein my idea here is to contribute in such a manner wherein the outcome goes far beyond the expectation. So अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं कि how much have I shared or contributed in a particular process, so I would try to give more than I can. And when both of the team members come together, the outcome is far, far better when they are together. So basically, when we are talking about interpersonal relationships, this is exactly the kind of relationship that we all would aspire for, wherein each team member feels proud, each team member feels engaged, each team member feels recognized for the kind of work that they are doing. So both of the parties would actually feel a sense of fulfillment for achieving the desired goal, and the productivity actually increases. So in this entire process, you would see that there is so much of give and take, but moreover, it is like a win-win situation for both of them. And in the process, the end result is far better than it was expected. So as you would see that these are the different types of relationships that we all have, but the ideal way would be the synergistic relationship. So basically the point that we all need to understand is that it is very important what actually makes a good relationship. So for example, that if there is a lot of assumption in a relationship wherein you do not share your ideas with the other person, you do not share your expectations with the other person, you are not transparent about what you think should be the desired outcome, you do not share about what are the ways that you think you could both work together, you do not share your inputs, your suggestions, your observations with the other person about what you feel, then probably there is a lot of gap in communication, and resulting to that, there are times when people assume a lot about the other person. So in order to have a healthy relationship, clarity plays the foundation stone. That is, the more clear you are with the other person, the more clear you help the other person understand about what your expectations are, it actually helps us to deliver the desired results. Unless and until you do not know what the other person is expecting out of you, it's going to be very difficult, to communicate to them as to what exactly is the desired outcome. Like say, for instance, right now I'm communicating to you and I can see none of you on with your video. I can see none of you responding to me. I can see none of you actually telling me as to what are your learning objectives. So I am basically doing nothing but assuming that you are getting what I am saying, and I'm assuming that I am able to share with you what you actually are looking for. So at the end of the session, there will be a lot of ups and downs about the desired outcome, because I never know as to what are your expectations, and you will not know as to what I am to deliver, right? So that's a real-time example here. And the second thing is about developing success habits. Success habits is more about developing the right discipline for life. Like there are times where certain times we identify that, all right, these are the ways we need to all work, but then we do that for 1 day, 2 days, and then we just give it up. So we do not make it as a habit. We do not ensure it as a habit for a daily basis. So what we basically do is we just go ahead and do it the way we want to, when we actually wish to. And when we feel that, okay, today I'm not in the mood of doing it, I don't do it. Similarly, if I feel like I want to talk to somebody, I go ahead and talk to. And if I am really moody and I don't feel like, I don't follow it, right? So this is basically that success habits are more about discipline, some values, some disciplines that you inculcate within yourself to follow on a very day-to-day basis without giving it up. So basically, my idea here is that when we are talking about the second key difference, and that is about having the success habits, it is more about having a daily discipline about what you would want to do on a very daily, regular basis. That is, say, transparency in communication. So whenever I initiate a discussion, I first state my objective as to why are we communicating, and then I move on. I have this in my habit to take ideas from the other person. I am receptive to the other person. I do not get annoyed when somebody tells me something. So these are basically the habits that I inculcate, which I do and follow on a daily basis. And the third thing is taking up 100% responsibility. Responsibility in the sense where, every single day I feel that, all right, whatever has happened, where is it that I could have made a difference? Where is it that I could have, made a better way to do it? So if something went wrong, I would not blame, or I would not defame someone, or I would not defend myself, but I would rather take the responsibility of whatever has happened. So that's about being responsible. All right, I don't know if you would really be answering my questions, but yeah, how are you feeling? So let me have a quick check on, if you all are with me, or I am just talking to the screen. So if you all are with me, do share with me, how are you feeling right now? What is it that you're passing through as an emotion right now? What are you feeling right now? So when you look at the various emoticons, tell me, how are you feeling right now? Are you feeling aggressive? Are you feeling agonized? Are you feeling happy? Thank you for saying that, Sherry. Are you feeling arrogant or bashful or blissful? Or it could be anything, right? So it could be horrified, or you could be very gloomy, very sad. So yeah, it already always depends on, the kind of situation that you are in right now. And it also depends on things that either are going on right now, that is your present, or it could be something that, you were in a moment before. So yeah, so definitely it is more about, the experiences that you personally pass through is based on certain events that are either happening at present, or there are events that, were earlier. So you passed through earlier. So your emotions are connected to each other with the event itself. And so basically, now let me check with you as to, if I ask you that, talking about my best day and my worst day, can you recall about which day was really, your best day? Which day would you say that, okay, this was my best day? So do share in the chat window about, which was your really the best day and why, and which was your worst day. I would love to share. I would love to know about it, so that I can move forward and connect it with our relationships. Because see, the time that we spend together, we really need to ensure that we gain certain learnings which are relevant, applicable in your life as well. So let me check with you as to, if you can recall about which was your best day and worst day. Please use the chat window and try to recall. Right. So Sherry says, my best day when I got good marks and had a family dinner. Wow, that was wonderful. Yeah, so you had a family dinner when you got good marks. Okay, so when you learn new things in a day, that's your best day. Okay, so that, all right, great. So, and how about your worst day? Can you recall about which was really the worst day? which was your worst day that, okay, I really don't want to think about this day, and this day everything was just not the way I wanted it to be? Can you recall about that worst day of your life? Not really. Okay, so that's nice to know, right? So basically, my point here is that whether it was the worst day or the best day, let us understand that anything, any event that happened, right? We had a particular response to that event. This is my one of the favorite equations that helps all of us understand that any emotion that is connected to any event, and our response to that event actually lays an outcome. Like, say for example, there was an event that just took place. Okay, let us recall that. Okay, so say my best day was when I got good marks, as Sherry said, or the best day was when I learned new things. So it makes us feel that it was good because of the response to that particular event. Like, say, getting good marks is a matter of achievement, a pride for me, because I feel recognized by the people around me. Or if everybody around me kept on telling me that, oh, this is not a good mark, and this is not what you should have done, and nobody even bothered to come to you and congratulate you that, oh wow, Sherry, you did a good job, you did an awesome job, or wow, let's celebrate your achievement. Just imagine if you would have got good marks the way you wanted to achieve, but there was no one to recognize it. Would that still be a happy day? Right. So definitely not. Similarly, if I ask Siddharth that, all right, so say if I am learning new things in a day. Now, when I learn new things, but the things that I learn, I'm not able to utilize it anywhere, or wherever I use those learnings, people kind of tell me that what nonsense this is, and this is definitely not what you should be learning, and you're not able to apply any of your learnings, and people actually find faults in whatever you learned. So is that really going to give you a sense of happiness? Probably not, right? Because you definitely got a kind of a recognition for what you did. So each one of us has a particular response associated to any event. So any event that takes place in our life, we always have a choice to make, a choice whether we want to feel positive about it or negative about it. The way we respond to that event is going to make our emotion, make our mood, make or break our day. And our achievements is going to definitely make us realize that whether it was really worth it or not. So basically, yes, definitely. So implementation is very important. So basically, while I'm talking about any kind of an event that takes place, we really need to understand that events are definitely not in our control. Whatever happens, like say, for example, you shared about your worst day. So I understand that, that was definitely the worst day. But how do you respond to that event is going to ensure the outcome. So if I keep clinging to something that has gone bad, I am going to experience the same bad day as long as I cling to the sadness, right? The moment I change my response to that event, it is going to make me either happier or even sadder, right? So say for instance, while I'm talking about say a bad day, and when I say that, okay, this is something that happened which should not have happened, I feel bad about it, I feel the pain for a little while, but then I need to overcome that, right? I cannot continue living in that sadness for a very long time, because there is a lot of life still left. There are a lot of dear ones who are still around me, and I really need to pass on, that happiness. If I am sad, I'm going to pass on that sadness. Yet I would like to share a very beautiful anecdote that was shared by Osho, wherein he mentioned that this entire world is filled with people holding empty bowls. All right, empty bowls. एक खाली कटोरा लेकर हम सब ही घूम रहे हैं. And what does that empty bowl have? It has nothing. Nothing in the sense people are empty hearted when they do not have love, they do not have compassion, they do not have happiness, and they are wanting it from somebody. So Osho says that each one of us is like holding that empty bowl and begging for some more happiness, begging for some more joy, begging for some more love, for some more forgiveness. But when can you share it with others? You can share it with others when your entire bowl has something in it, right? If you are carrying an empty bowl, how are you going to share it with others? So basically, the idea here is that when I myself am not happy, I cannot spread my happiness. Now, how do I have happiness if everybody around me is in pain or is holding that empty bowl? How do I find my happiness? From whom do I get my happiness? So yeah, so there is definitely one way wherein you are surrounded with people who themselves have their own share of happiness, and when they are in your life, you feel joyful, you feel happy, and when they are not, again you feel sad and drained. So this is a very temporary and relative phase, that those people, if are around you, you feel good, if not, you feel bad. But is that enough? Probably not. What we need to do is we need to create our own happiness. If I am able to create my happiness, now this may sound a little philosophical to a lot of us as to what does creating happiness have to do with relationships. So the point here is that unless and until I do not trust myself, unless and until I am not happy myself, unless and until I do not respect myself, unless and until I do not believe in myself, that is, unless and until if my bowl is not filled, I cannot share it with others. So for any event that happens, if my response is based on the choice I make, and that is a wise choice, keeping the long-term impact in mind, I would guard my emotions. How do I be happy? How do I create my own happiness? Is by thinking about how my response is going to impact my outcome. Say, for example, you are about to leave for a client conversation, client meeting, and you are at your work, you are at your home, and you're about to leave, you're all decked up, you're all ready, and you're about to leave for your client meeting. You thought of having a cup of tea before you leave, and you're just drinking your tea, you're sipping it, and in the next 10 minutes you're about to leave, you're all set for the day, the presentation is ready, and everything is all set, and you still have 10 minutes and you're drinking your tea. Now suddenly there is a child in the house, and he's playing around, and he spills your tea when he's playing with a ball or something, and that tea spills on your dress. Now, what happens to you is that, you could either not feel bad, and which is in the rarest case, because you're already late now, because, you had to leave in the next 5 minutes, and you wanted to have that cup of tea. And, before leaving, you wanted to just feel calm and, happy before you leave, so that you could make it right for the presentation and the client meeting. But unfortunately, something happened which was not as per expectation. So here again, yes. So when you're talking about an event, so this is an event that took place, Now, how do you respond to that event is totally your choice. So if it is a negative response, you would get upset on the child, you could slap the child, you get angry and irritated, and, mumble around as to what the hell, and, I'm getting so late, and this is what happened. And then you after you get angry on the child, and, the other people who are around who could be made responsible by blaming them, and then you rush, you clean your dress, you change your outfit, and somehow you manage to reach the client meeting, but then you are late, and again, so much of stress that you're passing through. Now that's a response that you made. Now, instead of that, if you had made a positive response, now that was again your choice. So before actually becoming, very irritated, agitated, what you decide is that, okay, eventually kapde to badalne hi hai, aur agar zyada time waste kiya, to mera time waste hoga, and then, probably I will get late for my meeting. तो थोड़ा सा बच्चे को डाटा एंड जल्दी से क्लीन अप किया या चेंज किया एंड आप जल्दी से भागे एंड यू केप्ट योर कूल. सो दोनों सिचुएशंस में आप देखेंगे कि जो हमारा लास्ट आउटकम है वो क्या है. सो ऑब्वियसली जो आउटकम है वो ये होगा बेस्ड ऑन कि आपने क्या रिस्पॉन्स दिया है, राइट. सो अगर आपने पॉजिटिव रिस्पॉन्स दिया है तो आपका आउटकम भी पॉजिटिव आ सकता है या न्यूट्रल आएगा. पर अगर आपने नेगेटिव रिस्पॉन्स दिया है देन डेफिनेटली यू कैन नॉट एक्सपेक्ट दैट योर आउटकम विल बी पॉजिटिव. So every time, whenever an event happens, whether it is a happy day or a sad day, if I am making a wise decision of my response to that event, then it is going to help me get an outcome which is not negative. So when I make a very intellectual choice, a very predetermined choice, it will not be based on the emotions that just take me and I get carried away, but I make a wise decision of not reacting in a particular way, rather responding in a particular way, right? So here the point is that that's how we can actually create one way happiness, and that is by making a choice about how we want to respond in particular events and be happy. Second is about doing things that give us happiness. Like every one of us would be having some or the other things that we like doing, maybe some hobbies, some passion of ours that we would want to chase, that throughout our life we have been running around for some major goals of ours, and because of that we have missed out on a lot of things that we always desired to do. So somebody would be liking to paint, somebody would like to write, blog writing or article writing or dance or listen to music or anything. So maybe some sports, some games, some singing. There would be something that makes us happy, right? So we need to find out as to what actually makes me happy from within. Unless and until you're not happy from within, having a good relationship with others is definitely not going to be possible. If you're all the time irritated, agitated, and angry about a lot of things, maybe in your life and people around you, that's all that you can share, right? So to have a good, healthy relationship, first have a good, healthy relationship with your own self and accept yourself, accept your shortcomings. Wherever you can improvise, learn what you can. And when you feel that, okay, these are the things that I simply can't change. Like say, for instance, the way I look or certain things that simply you cannot change, the way I predict things. If I feel that, okay, I always predict it negatively, then I can change that. I can change it by trying to make a better positive self-talk and predict things positively. So there are always going to be certain things that you can change, certain things you cannot change. So for those you can't change, why worry? Because when you worry, you are sitting like on a rocking chair. It keeps you busy, but it doesn't, give you any result. So जिन चीजों को आप बदल सकते हो उन्हें बदलिए, जिनको नहीं बदल सकते हैं just overcome it, right? So just let it be and just try to equip yourself to adjust with the things that you already have. So basically with this particular slide I just wanted to share कि हमारी लाइफ में जो भी कुछ होता है, if you really want a good healthy relationship, first learn to be happy yourself. One way that we discussed is कि choose your response so that you do not feel upset, sad and regret later. So make a wise decision now so that that happiness stays intact based on your pre-decided decision and not because you got carried away out of anger or outburst. Second thing we discussed is following your passion, your hobby, or anything that makes you happy, that makes you feel good from within, right? And thirdly is by being around with people who are less privileged than you. So there are so many people who are facing many, many more challenges that than you are, right? And they have very, very little support system than you have. So many a times, you know, being able to accept and be grateful for things that we have makes us really feel happy. So spending time with less privileged people, maybe you could, you know, spend some time in the orphanage, maybe you could spend some time in the old age homes, or anywhere that, you know, you come across. You could just help someone in need, or maybe if nonetheless you could just go and feed some birds and animals whom you could make happy. So when you do these little acts of kindness, it gives you happiness, right? So that is the first thing that we all need to understand, is being happy ourselves. All right, so now a question to all of you. Tell me, if you could see the dress on the screen, tell me what color is the dress? What color do you think is this dress? Do you see the dress? Tell me, what color is the dress? What is the color of the dress that you see? White. White and brown. Okay. How about the others? What is the color of the dress do you see? Is everyone seeing white and brown? Okay, white and light brown, or something like golden. Okay. What about the rest of us? Okay, white and golden. A lot of us are seeing white and golden. Okay. Look at it closely. I would really appreciate from everyone, each one of us. What do you see? What do you see? Is everyone seeing as white and golden? Or maybe silver? Okay. Okay. Is anyone looking at this dress, seeing this as blue, black? Anyone who could see this dress as blue, black, off-white? Anyone? Okay. So this is a very debatable topic, and there are people who look at this dress, and those who have an analytical brain, they can see this dress as white and golden. And the rest of us who have a very logical brain would actually look at this dress and would see the same colors as blue and black. Now that would sound unbelievable, but that's how it is. Like, there are a lot of people who see the same dress in different color. I am glad that all of us, look at it in a very similar perception. All right, look at this picture. Look at this picture. What do you see in this picture? Can you identify anything in between? What do you see in this picture? There are a lot of bricks. What else do you see other than the bricks in this picture? Do you see anything else in this picture? A mouse. Okay. What else? All right, so there could be a mouse here, maybe. All right, what else do you see in the picture? Stones, okay. All right, yeah, there are a lot of stones out here, possible. Okay, there are pebbles in between. Okay, there are a lot of pebbles, okay. All right, a sparrow, wow, okay. Interesting, okay. So, all right, now let me throw a point, okay. So, can you see a cigar in between? Can you see a cigar in between? Do you see a long brown cigar? Okay, Sherry has found the cigar. Okay, very nice, Sherry. That's a quick observation. All right, how about the rest of us? Can anyone see a long brown cigar? Can you see a long brown cigar? Anyone? Okay, so everybody's trying hard, okay? Yes, okay. So Paragji has found out, okay, it's hanging out, okay? Yeah, so this is the one, that's right. This is the one, okay? So, all right, so Jaimeshi, you really need to look at it once again. It's going to be not easy for sure. And for those who have been able to figure out, congratulations, you have found it. All right, so for those who have not been able to figure out, let me tell you, this is the one, okay? I hope you're able to see my arrow, but this is the one. This is the one cigar. So now focus here, okay? Can you see this long one? Yeah, all right, so a lot of us are now finding out. All right, so this is the cigar, okay? And now I want you to not see the cigar. For those who were able to see the cigar, I want you to now not see the cigar and look at the picture the way it was earlier, okay? So earlier when आपको वो cigar नहीं दिख रही थी, तब वो picture जैसे दिख रहा था, अब आप उस picture को उस angle से देखिए, क्या आप उसे देख पा रहे हैं? Are you able to not see the cigar and look at the picture with only bricks? Can you see it? Are you able to see it? No, right? Are you able to see it? All of you, tell me, are you able to see it? Without the cigar, can you just look at the picture but not see the cigar the way it was earlier? Right? So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for us to not see the cigar. And what is the reason behind it? What is the reason behind it? The reason is कि एक बार कोई चीज हमको दिख जाती है तो उसको ना देख पाना is going to be a big challenge, right? So most of the times, let us take this as an example कि हमारी लाइफ में ऐसे बहुत सारे relationships हैं जिनके बारे में हमने एक परसेप्शन बनाया हुआ है. इमेजिन कि पहले हमें वो लोग बहुत अच्छे लगते थे, you know, like with whom, you know, we met earlier, और शुरू में वो बहुत अच्छे लगते थे, लेकिन जैसे जैसे टाइम बीता उनकी कुछ कुछ गलतियां हमारे सामने आने लगी. एंड ऐसी कुछ गलतियां थी या ऐसी कुछ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स थी या ऐसे उनके काम करने के तरीके थे which just does not allow us to, you know, like them or respect them the way we used to earlier, right? So उनकी वो जो negative attribute हैं वो हमारे सामने बार बार आ जाती है, right? अगर मैं आपसे कहूँ कि आप उनकी negative attribute को forego कीजिए and you know just look at the positive attributes, are you really going to be able to just forego it? Probably it's going to be as difficult as not seeing the cigar and looking at things the way it was earlier, right? So the point here that I want to share with all of you is that we all carry so much of baggage कि उन baggage के साथ हम जितना चलेंगे, उस baggage के साथ हम जितना day to day life को जिएंगे, that is going to be so very difficult to forgive the other person and start afresh and feel happy with that person around, because उनकी जो गलतियां हैं वो हमारे सामने रहने ही वाली है. But then अगर हम उसी गलती को you know, if you turn it around, like अगर हम उसे उल्टा कर देते हैं, like say for instance आप किसी के अंदर एक अच्छाई देखने की कोशिश कीजिए and आपका जो फोकस है, जैसे कि हमारे लिए ये जो शिकार है वो अगर नेगेटिव की जगह पे वो पॉजिटिव है, if our intention is that despite of all the bad things, if I can only focus on the good thing, then probably my perspective toward that person will change, right? So it is more or less like you know, the story of the missing tile syndrome करके बहुत ही बढ़िया term आया था based on an experiment that was conducted. What was this experiment? एक बार ऐसा हुआ कि एक group of psychologists ने सोचा that you know, let us experiment about, you know, how human psyche works. तो उन्होंने क्या किया कि एक बड़ा सा स्विमिंग पूल था, ठीक है, इसको हायर किया एंड वो जो स्विमिंग पूल था इट वाज वेरी ब्यूटीफुल एंड उनका जो स्विमिंग पूल के जो अंदर की टाइल्स थी, सो सारी टाइल्स एक एक टाइल जो थी, every single tile was a masterpiece, you know, इतनी beautiful decoration के साथ, design के साथ, artistic way में वो पूरे स्विमिंग पूल को recreate किया गया था. पर एक चीज थी, उसमें उन्होंने पूरे टाइल्स में से एक टाइल का पार्ट निकाल दिया. Okay, so पूरा swimming pool of the number, a very large swimming pool with number of tiles in it, but just one tile was removed. Okay, so there was a missing tile in that swimming pool. Then the swimming pool was kept open for use. Now everybody who would walk into that swimming pool would admire the beauty of the swimming pool. Wow, kya beautiful swimming pool hai, kitna acha swimming pool hai. And then when they would actually use the swimming pool and enjoy their time in the swimming pool, and when they would come out, and when they were asked, ki, how was your experience and how do you find our swimming pool? So everybody said that, oh, it was amazing, such a beautiful design, but just that one missing tile, if you would have ensured कि वो जो missing tile थी ना वो रहती, तो ये जो पूरा picture है ना बहुत complete लगता और beautiful लगता. Now imagine that there were thousands of tile in that entire pool, but every single person experienced, observed, and noted that that missing tile was not right. It should have not been missed. So that's exactly how human psyche works. That हम कितनी भी कोशिश कर ले, but we tend to remember things जो नहीं हुई है. So सामने वाला 100 अच्छाइयां कर रहे, पर एक चीज अगर गलत की है, तो our mind keeps reminding us about that little thing that has been missed or not done as per expectations. So that's a learning for all of us. If you really want to be happy in life, if you really want to inculcate good interpersonal relationship, you need to come out of that tile syndrome, the missing tile syndrome. So what do you need to do here is, you need to look at the better side of life. You need to look at the brighter things in that person so that you can accept the person the way he or she is. Now, it is such a challenge, when I talk about being able to accept others the way they are. It is such a challenge. आप इतनी negativity के बीच में, if somebody constantly does certain things which doesn't make you happy, how do you still stay positive and be positive with that person? So yeah, so my first thing would definitely be कि देखिए, अगर आप उनके साथ relationship रखना चाहते हैं, if you really want to have a healthy relationship, you need to treat the other person the way you would want others to treat you, right? अगर आपने कोई गलती की है, तो आप क्या एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे कि कोई आपकी बार बार क्रिटिसिज्म करी जाए, या आपके बारे में बुरा भला बोला जाए, या आपको कोई इग्नोर करे? Would you like that? No, right? So similarly, जैसे हम गलतियां करते हैं, दूसरे भी गलतियां करते हैं, but looking at the bigger picture, by trying to just let go sometimes, by trying to leave our ego aside and giving more importance to the relationship that we have with others, by trying to understand that when we will be on our deathbed, nobody is going to remember ki what did we give them, how good a project report did we make them, but everybody is going to remember how you made that person feel, right? So आपने क्या किया, कैसे किया, कोई याद नहीं रखने वाला है, लेकिन आपने उनको कैसा एक्सपीरियंस दिया, उनको कैसा महसूस कराया, ऐसा हर कोई याद रखता है. So even if I ask you कि भाई ऐसा कोई भी इंसान को याद कीजिए जिसको आप immediately recall करेंगे that this person made me feel the best of myself, this person is the one whom I would always think about when I think about a good experience. So you will always have somebody who has made you feel good about you, who has made you feel special. So remember that, the first and foremost thing we all need to remember is कि एक अच्छा relationship, एक अच्छे interpersonal skills बनाने के लिए, how you make the other person feel is going to stay as the evergreen tip, evergreen golden tip for every single individual. That is, make the person feel positive, not about you, but about he himself. आप जब उनसे बात करते हैं, अगर आप उनको क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं, तो आप उनको उनके खुद के बारे में बहुत ही नीचा महसूस करवाते हैं और उसकी वजह से he may not like you. You must have observed even with children, it happens the same. If you constantly criticize your children about what they are wrong, where they are wrong, and what are the miscommunications that they have done with you, or any tasks that you gave to them and they did not do it right, and what your expectations are and what they did was wrong, and whenever you constantly remind them about how bad they are, how far do they take you positively, right? So if you actually go deep, they may be fearful and they may be accepting your suggestions, your feedback, but deep inside nobody likes criticism. Okay, if somebody criticizes you as an individual, would you really like, right? So that is definitely something that we would not like it. So the learning point here is make the other person feel good about himself. So that is the rule number 1 for developing good relationships. Rule number 2 is about letting things go. Okay, so the way you see the cigar here, look at the good things. Okay, look at the good things so that the other negative things are just shared as a feedback rather than a criticism. That's not your point of focus. Okay, so what your focus point could be is maintaining a good relationship with the other person, trying to have a healthy relationship with the other person, trying to be happy with yourself and not imbalancing your own happiness against being angry with that person. So all of these things are eventually going to help you, right? The third thing for good relationship is always give feedback. Do not criticize, especially never ever criticize people in public. कई बार हम दो जनों के सामने किसी के बारे में बुरा भला बोल देते हैं, be it your employees at the workplace, be it your children, be it your spouse, your dear ones, your relatives. So whenever you're talking about interpersonal relationships, always ensure कि कभी भी किसी के सामने, तीसरे व्यक्ति के सामने उनका criticism ना करें, because it is very hurtful. Secondly is about giving feedback rather than criticizing. That is trying to show them the way about how it could have been done rather than criticizing as to तुमने ये गलत कर दिया, तुम बिल्कुल careless हो, hopeless हो, I cannot trust you. Instead of that, you share them a feedback about how things could have been done. So this is how for sharing feedback is important rather than criticizing others. And the final point is complimenting people. Try to compliment others. Try to tell them as to how good they are, how important they are, how valuable they are. So basically, when you compliment somebody, especially in front of others, in public, they feel good about you. So remember that do not criticize, do not just fault find in others. Make the other person feel good about themselves, and always try to appreciate and compliment them. So now finally we're talking about that in relationships. Remember that there are always our own perceptions about ourselves and about others. Like I feel that I am okay, but how about the other person? So I have the choice to make. I am okay, but the other person is not okay. Or I would say, I am okay and the other person is also okay. So I am good, the other person is also good. The other way around is I am not okay, but the other person is okay, right? So when we are always wondering about what the focus is on. So if my focus is on the good aspect, like if I feel that I am okay and the other person is also okay, here okay means we are fine, we are normal, we are acceptable. So it is not about the right and the wrong, but it is more about accepting the way the person is, right? And if we keep feeling कि सामने वाले में ही कुछ गड़बड़ है, that means that I am always right, but the other person is always wrong. So here there needs a correction to be done, right? So let us take an example. Let's say, for example, a manager tells to an employee, there is a big mistake in your report and you have missed mentioning some very important points, okay? So इमेजिन कि एक मैनेजर है और एक एम्प्लॉई है, तो एम्प्लॉई का जवाब कोई भी हो सकता है. I would really appreciate if you could write down in the chat window कि अगर कोई मैनेजर है वो अपने एम्प्लॉई को ये जवाब देता है, तो write down an answer in the chat window. What could be an answer? It could be anything. It could be a positive answer, it could be a negative answer. Write down in the chat window what could be a probable answer to this response. So the manager is saying there's a big mistake in your report. You have missed mentioning some very important points. So what do you think would the employee respond? What will the employee say? Let us think about one answer to this question. What do you think would be the answer? Negative. Okay. So think about the answer. आपको क्या लगता है क्या statement देगा employee? आंसर क्या होगा एम्प्लॉय का? अगर बोलते हैं कि भाई बहुत बड़ी गलती है रिपोर्ट में, तुम बहुत सारे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स मिस कर गए हो, क्या लगता है कि एम्प्लॉय क्या बोलेगा? अगर आपको देना है जवाब, तो आप क्या जवाब देते हैं? Any answers? No answers. Chill, sir. Just calmly tell me what's the mistake. I will try to correct. Right, super. So, yeah, so ye ek tarika hai, wonderful. I appreciate that. All right, so what else? What else? What could be the other answers to it? What could be the other answers? Any other answers? So एक हो सकता है negative. I will make the changes. All right, super. Right, so there could be any of these answers, right? एक हो सकता है कि आप हमेशा all right, I'll try again. Very nice. Thank you, Sita. So yeah, so there are always options available, right? एक ही same situation का. So एक situation में, ये situation में हमने कहा कि नेगेटिव है, तो अब हमेशा आपको मेरी रिपोर्ट्स में कुछ ना कुछ गलतियां नजर आ ही जाती है, एंड मन ही मन में मैं सोचूंगी कि मुझे पता ही था कि ये कुछ गलती तो जरूर निकालेंगे, राइट? Show the assumptions based for reports. Okay, so we will support the documents by giving him the logic कि भाई क्यों मैंने ये किया, right? Fantastic, right? And the second way would be to make it positive, that is, don't worry, tell me, मैं अभी correct कर देता हूँ. Now look at this scenario. The supervisor tells the employee, you are late by 3 hours. I want an explanation. What do you think would be the answer of the employee? क्या आंसर हो सकता है अगर बॉस एम्प्लॉय को बोले कि और तुम 3 घंटे फिर से लेट हो गए हो, मुझे एक एक्सप्लेनेशन चाहिए, क्यों लेट हो? सो क्या आंसर होगा आपका? सोचो कि अगर आपको आंसर देना है तो आप क्या आंसर देंगे? I had a problem and I can explain. Okay, right. So आप अपने प्रॉब्लम बताएंगे और एक्सप्लेनेशन देंगे, ठीक है? What else? Any other suggestions? Any other suggestions? Yes, sir, you are right. I have some problems. I had some issues. Okay. What else? Any other things that you see? I can explain. Can we sit and talk? Okay, cool, great. Fine. All right, acceptable. Okay, how about this? The boss asks an employee, did you finish the budget estimate? Okay, did you finish the budget estimate? Boss ने कुछ काम दे रखा है and he's asking the employee, तुमने budget का estimate complete किया? What do you think is the answer? अगर किया है तो या नहीं किया है तो, whatever, it's your choice. What will you answer? Any suggestions? What do you think would you answer? Yes, it's done. All right. So either you would say, yes, it's done. Okay. Now, how about this? Mother to the child, stop watching TV. Finish your homework first. What do you think? Okay. Yes, I'm working and will be finished within the due date. Okay, super. All right. Now, how about this? Mother says to the child, stop watching TV. Finish your homework. What do you think would the child say? I will do after I finish this show. Okay. All right. What else? What are the other options do you hear actually yourself? Think. What do you think are the other answers? Do you normally hear, with that? I am doing it together, it will be done. Smart kids, they're multitasking. All right, so my point here is that before we actually go on to it, I want to share this very important element. All right, now it says that all of us play an important role. Okay, now PAC, wherein P stands for parent, A stands for adult, and C stands for child. Okay, I've just started watching it 5 minutes ago. All right, yes, they're all going to give you logic. Now let us understand these responses. Okay, what were the questions and how were they answered? So let's understand that each one of us plays a role of a parent, of an adult, of a child every single time. Okay, whatever our age, we still play multiple roles, and all of these roles, whether even if we have children, then too we would see that even children have this option of being a parent sometimes, option of being a child sometimes, and they too even manage an adult and give you logics, right? So they too are sometimes parents, sometimes adult, and sometimes child. Now what does that actually mean? Like, let us understand. What I mean to say is, I'm going to okay. All right. So yeah, so what I was mentioning is that we all have this option about how we want to react or respond in a given situation. So let us take an example. Now, in the first example, wherein we had the first question. Okay, the first question wherein we asked that there is some missing information in your report. Okay, so what are we saying is that the boss is trying to find out a fault. Okay, now let us understand that how does that relate to what I'm trying to explain to you. What I'm trying to explain to you is that, say for example, a parent. So if somebody is saying from the parent perspective, अगर आपके अंदर एक parent बोल रहा है, वो कैसे बोलेगा? वो instructions देगा. अभी इंस्ट्रक्शंस कैसे देगा? एक तो पेरेंट होता है जो बहुत ही प्यार से बोलता है, ठीक है? सो वी ऑल हैव हैड पेरेंट्स हु प्ले मल्टीपल रोल्स. कभी प्यार से बोलते हैं तो कभी इंस्ट्रक्शंस देके कमांड करके नेगेटिवली बोलते हैं. सो एक नर्चरिंग पेरेंट वो होगा जो बड़े प्यार से बोलेगा कि बेटा तुमने ये काम क्यों नहीं किया, तुमको बोला था करने के लिए, यू शुड हैव डन इट, नो यू डोंट टेक केयर एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट. अगर एक एग्रेसिव पेरेंट है, कंट्रोलिंग पेरेंट है, तो वो क्या बोलेगा? Go ahead and finish this right now. Okay, like say for example, you are late and you are saying, you are late again. How dare you are late again? So many times I have told you, don't be late. Better be on time next time, right? So whatever I say with a commandment, wherein I am trying to show my authority, then I am behaving like a parent. Now understand this. जब मैं एक parent role से, वो भी controlling parent role से बोल रही हूँ, what is it that I expect in return? Like अगर हम हमारे previous answers देखें, जिसमें हमने कहा कि there is a mistake there is a mistake, you have missed on some very important information. ना उसके जवाब में अगर मैं ये कहता हूँ कि आपको तो हमेशा मेरे रिपोर्ट में गलतियां नजर आती है, इसमें भी आ गई होगी, कौन सी बड़ी बात है, राइट? सो आप यहाँ पर कैसे बिहेव कर रहे हैं? यू आर रिस्पॉन्डिंग एज अ चाइल्ड हियर, wherein आप एक जिद्दी चाइल्ड बनकर बोल रहे हैं कि भाई मुझे आपकी कोई बात नहीं सुननी है, यू आर ऑलवेज लाइक दैट. Instead of that, the parent expects कि आप किस तरीके से behave करें, एक obedient child बन के react करें. That is, okay, I'm sorry, I think मैंने गलती कर ली है. Please guide me and I will try to correct it. So जैसे काफी सारों ने बोला कि please sir, tell me कहाँ पर गलती हुई है, मैं उसे अभी ठीक कर देता हूँ. I'm very sorry. So basically जो parent है वो expect करता है कि सामने वाला जब गलती करे तो माफी मांगे. इंटरपर्सनल स्किल में हमें ये चीज ध्यान रखनी है कि सामने वाला हमसे क्या expect करता है and हम उनसे क्या expect करते हैं. So on the left side the PAC is we and on the other side the PAC is the other person. So यहाँ पर किस तरीके से हम एक दूसरे से बात करते हैं वो डिसाइड करेगा कि हमारा रिलेशन उनके साथ इस इंटरैक्शन के बाद कैसा होगा. Alright. So now let me explain to you about how do we normally work in these circumstances. The moment you say कि tell me what is the mistake in the report, okay? The moment you ask कि भाई what is the mistake in the report, so now you never know कि वो parent मोड पे से उसने एग्रेसिवली आपका लिया है कि उसका बुरा लगेगा, राइट? कि भाई लो तुमको ये भी नहीं पता है कि तुमने क्या गलती की है, खुद ने गलती की और अभी भी मुझे ही बताना है कि तुमने क्या गलती की है. सो हियर either that could be the response or the response would be that the parent then suddenly becomes an adult and tells you, look, this is where you made a mistake and this is how you should have done. So how do you bring the parent to an adult conversation is, first of all, अगर गलती की है तो apologize करो. Wherein सामने वाला जब एक control authority से आपसे कुछ कह रहा है and you know that you are probably wrong somewhere, or even if not, if he is holding an authority which is above you, maybe by age, maybe by designation, or maybe any kind of a relation that you have, अगर वो आपसे ज्यादा अथॉरिटी रख रहा है, दैट मीन्स कि वो एक कंट्रोलिंग पैरेंट बन रहा है, तो आपको एक ओबीडियंट चाइल्ड बन के सबसे पहले apologize करना चाहिए, right? So the first thing that you would do is, I'm extremely sorry. Although I have tried my best, but I think अगर आप कह रहे हैं तो शायद इसमें कुछ रह गया होगा. Please मुझे गाइड कीजिए कि क्या गलती है, right? So यहाँ पर मैं क्या कह रही हूँ कि मैं उनसे रिक्वेस्ट कर रही हूँ कि एज अ पेरेंट वो मुझे माफ करे, एंड देन मैं उनको एडल्ट के तरीके पे ला रही हूँ. आई एम ब्रिंगिंग हिम बैक टू द एडल्ट स्टेज वेयर आई एम रिक्वेस्टिंग हिम फॉर लॉजिक. सो व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड हियर इज कि जब हम पेरेंट फॉर्म में बात करते हैं तो एक पेरेंट जो है वो हमेशा कमांड करता है, चाहे प्यार से या कंट्रोल करके, बट ही वांट्स थिंग्स टू बी डन द वे ही एक्सपेक्ट्स देम टू. पर एडल्ट जो है वो लॉजिकल होता है. सो यू वुड सी देयर आर सर्टेन बॉसेस हु आर लॉजिकल, हु गिव अप्रोप्रिएट सॉल्यूशंस, गाइडेंस, मेंटोरिंग. सो ये जब एडल्ट स्टेज में हम होते हैं तो हम ये चीजों को समझ पाते हैं. पर अगर हम बहुत ही चाइल्डिश स्टेज में है, दैट इज द थर्ड एलिमेंट, तो हम चीजों को समझेंगे नहीं. हम बोलेंगे मुझे तो ऐसा ही चाहिए, तुमने ऐसा क्यों किया. हम जब जिद करते हैं, इट इज लाइक मुझे आइसक्रीम चाहिए और अभी के अभी चाहिए, वैसे ही आई वांट यू टू सबमिट दिस प्रोजेक्ट बाय टुमारो एनी हाउ, आई डोंट वांट टू लिसन टू एनीथिंग, राइट? सो ये हो गया कि हम एक चाइल्ड बन के ही जबरदस्ती उनको फोर्स कर रहे हैं कि ऐसा होना चाहिए. सो बेसिकली जब हम एक पेरेंट बनकर कोई भी चीज सुनते हैं कि if somebody is becoming a controlling parent, then you have to be an obedient child. If you want that person to listen to you, then अगर आपसे कोई गलती हुई है तो पहले apologize कीजिए, and the next stage would be to request him for further information and then tell him कि आपने कौन से documents और supporting proofs है कि भाई मैंने ये समझ के ऐसा किया. So asking questions to understand what is he thinking and then providing the necessary answers will health. And similarly, agar koi child hai, so a child could be also a happy child who wants to play with you, who wants to have fun with you. And if you are acting as a parent, like if the child says let's go out and have some party, if your spouse says chalo kahin ghumne jate hain, but if you are saying that are corona chal raha hai, abhi thodi koi ja sakta, one second, I got disconnected. I'm sorry for that. All right, so that was all about the PAC model, which says we normally behave in these different conditions given a particular situation. So I would like to give a quick recap about whatever we discussed, and then we keep the platform open. So what I was mentioning is definitely जब हम interpersonal relationships की बात करते हैं, we need to ensure कि हम whatever is our objective, we need to understand that relationship, a good healthy relationship and a good goodwill has to attain at the end of any conversation. एक अच्छा relationship maintain करने के लिए the first thing that we really require is to be happy from ourselves, so that our bowl is not empty, so that we can share trust, we can share happiness, we can share joy with others. Second important thing is very important. Second important thing is that हम जब भी किसी से बात कर रहे हैं, we keep the E plus R is equal to O equation in mind, and that is कि whatever response we select is going to affect the outcome we have. So remember कि हम जब भी respond कर रहे हैं, so we need to respond in a very positive way, ensuring the long-term impact. Okay, so I do not want to be upset and short-tempered in a given situation, so that कि मैं बाद में repent करूं कि अरे मुझे ऐसा नहीं कहना चाहिए था, and the relationship eventually gets hampered. Thirdly जो है, हमेशा कभी भी किसी से बात करें to make that person feel good about himself, make that person feel valuable, special, positive about himself. So अगर आप उनसे बात कर रहे हैं उस वक्त अगर सामने वाले इंसान के बारे में आप उनको उनके ही बारे में बुरा महसूस करवाते हैं तो he will definitely not like you. So if you want the other person to feel good about you, make him feel good about he himself. Next is do not criticize in public. जब भी किसी से बात कर रहे हैं तो feedback दे, criticize ना करें. And feedback be one-on-one day, do not make it publicly. And compliment the person, appreciate the person. अगर आपको किसी से भी relationship अच्छे बनाने हैं, जब आप लोगों के बारे में अच्छा बोलते हैं उनको सामने से या फिर उनके पीछे से भी उनके बारे में, जो उनको कभी ना कभी तो पता लग ही जाएगा कि somebody was talking good about him, that would actually make your relation strong, healthier, happier with that person. So have a positive mindset. Do not carry negative baggages with you. Do not have the missing child syndrome wherein जो बुराई है वो ही आप बार-बार देख रहे हो, उसकी जगह पर अपनी स्टोरी चेंज कीजिए और पॉजिटिव देखिए. And finally, आप कोई भी रिलेशनशिप में हो, हमेशा याद रखिए you always have a choice to make. अगर सामने वाला जो है वो पैरेंटल मोड से बात कर रहा है तो he will expect you to talk like a child. So एक parent जो है हमेशा एक obedient child चाहता है. So you have to see as to what kind of a state he is talking from. अगर वो adult की तरह बात कर रहा है कि प्लीज एक्सप्लेन टू मी कि ये क्यों ऐसा है, तो अगर जिद करते हैं कि भाई तुमको इतना नहीं पता है तो यहाँ पर आप चाइल्ड बन रहे हैं. सो इफ दैट पर्सन इज टॉकिंग टू यू लाइक अ मैच्योर्ड पर्सन आस्किंग यू फॉर लॉजिक, तो सामने लॉजिक दीजिए. अगर सामने वाला प्लेफुल मोड में है या जिद मोड में है तो either you also have fun with the child mode of that person and you also be playful, or else you have to be in a controlling parent mode जिसमें आप पहले तो उनको बताएंगे कि नहीं ऐसे नहीं ऐसे करना है, वो नहीं मानते हैं तो फिर आपको एक लॉजिकल आर्गुमेंट देना पड़ेगा when you will make the child come to an adult stage, when you will try and explain कि चलो हम थोड़ी देर बात करते हैं, जैसे कि आप में से काफी सारों ने जवाब दिया कि let's just sit and discuss it out, right? So I would want to share my explanation. अगर आप मुझे 5 मिनट दे तो मैं थोड़ा सा अपना प्रॉब्लम आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहता हूँ. Please give me 5 minutes of your time. तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम उनको एक एडल्ट डिस्कशन में लेकर आ रहे हैं ताकि वो हमारी आर्गुमेंट को समझ सके, हमारे लॉजिक को समझ सके. So these are some of the elements that we all need to remember, that it is very important कि हम at the end of the day याद रखें that relationships make us feel required, needed in this world. Living alone is definitely not a good choice, right? कुछ टाइम तक आपको materialistic pleasures happiness देगी, but relationships जो है वो ही आपको long term happiness देंगे when you feel needed, when you feel recognized, when you feel accepted in the organization. So हमें याद रखना है कि चाहे वो वर्क प्लेस पे हो, हमारे कलीग्स के साथ, हमारे जूनियर्स के साथ, हमारे सीनियर्स के साथ, एज अ बॉस, एज एन एम्प्लॉय, एनीबॉडी, वी नीड टू रिमेंबर कि लॉन्ग टर्म इम्पैक्ट हमारे डिसीजन से होगा, मेरे रिस्पॉन्स से होगा. सो गार्ड योर थॉट्स बाय मेकिंग इट पॉजिटिव एंड लुकिंग एट द लॉन्गर इम्पैक्ट. एंड सेकेंडली याद रखिएगा कि एंगर, गुस्सा जो है वो हमेशा चीजों को बिल्कुल ही नेगेटिव कर देता है, आपके रिलेशनशिप को बहुत बुरी तरह से अफेक्ट कर देता है. तो अपने एंगर को जरूर कंट्रोल कीजिए, जिसमें आप अपने एंगर मैनेजमेंट में भी E+R=O, where you make a wise choice कि मुझे ये करने से इसका इम्पैक्ट क्या क्या हो सकता है. I may even lose a project, lose a job, lose a healthy relationship. So सामने वाले को बुरा लगने की वजह से क्या क्या हो सकता है वो शायद आप पूरी तरह से ना जानते हो. So always try to understand rather than assuming कि कुछ नहीं होगा. Rather than that, just be prepared for any kind of a decision that you make, whether it is a positive or a negative decision. Right, so that is all that I wanted to talk about today. And if you have any questions, you can put it across to me. I'll be happy to guide you. So do share with me your questions if you have any. If not, then we will conclude. All right, so thank you very much, everyone. I hope that you all found the session helpful and interesting. Okay, thank you so much, Sherry, for your feedback. Great. Siddharji, it is a great session. Okay, all right. Okay, be proactive. Thank you so much, Siddharji. It makes me happy that you found the session interesting and helpful. Right. Brilliant. It's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you so much, all the participants, for your contribution and for making me alive and keeping me participative and engaging, because your responses helped me continue the session and keep it livelier. So I'm very glad. I'm very glad to contribute and share my information. I mean, share my learnings. I would be glad to connect with you on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn ID is ECM Training. Okay. And do connect with me on LinkedIn if you are available on LinkedIn. And you can also connect with me on YouTube. So I have my YouTube channel. So for anything on YouTube, for gaining some videos on YouTube and some learnings, you can connect to me on my YouTube channel. Right, so this is my YouTube channel. So yeah, I could share the link as well for the LinkedIn and for the YouTube. All right, so yeah, I'm just sharing my link to YouTube. All right, so this is my YouTube. Sorry, this was my LinkedIn channel, and I would be glad to connect with you on LinkedIn as well as on YouTube. So that's my YouTube channel. All right, superb. So thank you so much for being around till the end. It was a pleasure connecting with all of you, and I wish you a fantastic day ahead. I'm glad to connect with you all. Thank you so much to the entire team of ICI for giving me this opportunity. Hope you all have a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you and wish you a good evening.